Hey guys, chubby MMA fighters, that's not something you see very often in this sport. To get in shape for an MMA fight, you usually have to push your body to the absolute limit. But somehow in MMA history, there have been a few chubby fighters who proved that you don't need a ripped, muscular physique to knock your opponents out cold. And that's exactly what this video is all about. Chubby fighters and their brutal knockouts. Let's go.
Прочувствовал этот удар Тони и постукивает как... Вот это да! Ничего себе!
Let's start with this Chinese gentleman, Aorigele, and his fight against Masuda Yosuke. Masuda clearly didn't want to strike with Aorigele, so he desperately kept trying to wrestle him. Unfortunately for Masuda, Aorigele stuffed every takedown and was simply better in the grappling department overall. I mean, you have to be very good at grappling to even think about taking down a heavyweight like Aorigele. Masuda didn't have world-class grappling and was giving up size, so Aorigele shut down their attempt to turn the first two rounds into a snooze fest. But the third round gets interesting. Masuda tries to fist bump Aorigele, and Aorigele basically like, nah, forget that, this is the round, I'm finishing you. He traps Masuda against the cage, they do some dirty boxing, and the ref eventually separates them. Then check this out. Aorigele just stands there staring at Masuda, playing mind games like, so are we throwing down like men or not? Masuda decides to try his luck, steps in and gets knocked out.
Oh, he's got him. He's in trouble. Masuda's in trouble.
It's over.
And
You can see the way he went down. Yeah.
Slugging away. He's got speed.
That uppercut.
Yeah, short uppercuts with the weight and the power to match.
Yeah.
Another wild finish Aorigele delivered came in his fight against Bob Sapp. Right at the start, Aorigele begins taunting Sapp with some surprisingly solid dance moves.
들어갑니다. 밥샷.
신중합니다, 밥샷.
아웃거는 도발하는 건가요?
댄스를 하고 있어요.
네.
Then, almost immediately, both guys jump into a wild brawl, and Bob Sapp goes down like a sack of potatoes.
자, 아웃거는 멈춰 펀치러시 밥샷. 자, 여기에 고개를 숙이면서 대응을 하고 있는데요. 상대를 좀 보면서 대응을 해야 될 것 같은데.
하지만 또 휘둘리고 들어가려 하는데요.
자, 아웃거는 라이트. 밥샷. 펀치를 있습니다. 맞췄습니다. 이분은 뭐 밥샷이 좀 밥샷이 버티는 모습을 보고 싶었는데 쉽지는 않았습니다.
지금 로라이트.
네.
이거는 뭐 버틸 수가 없었습니다.
좀
Now let's move on to the real-life Kung Fu Panda, Chris Barnett, and some of his crazy knockouts. We'll start with his fight against Shim Gun-Oh. In the first round, Chris immediately shows how crisp his striking really is. Kicks and punches flying so fast you'd never guess a guy built like that could be so technical.
Conor didn't prepare for too much at the gym, you know, these kicks. Wow.
Wow, man.
Wow.
Jeez. He's putting his hands.
Superman punch there.
All right, this.
He felt that.
He felt it.
Another one. Another one there.
Jeez, man.
By the end of the round, Barnett is confident enough to start taunting a bit. And fair enough, he clearly proved he was levels above his opponent in those opening minutes.
Backed off. Conor.
Oh!
That was
like-
performance there. Wow. He's gonna recompose himself, Conor.
And then Chris Barnett, he's taking a quick breather. Fighting is getting low kick. Just getting taking those low kicks.
The second round is where Barnett seals the deal with a kill shot. He lands a devastating spinning back kick.
He's got to really dig deep. Chris is using a lot of energy.
Okay, an accidental.
Shim Gun-Oh tries to play dirty and pretends the kick went below the waist to buy time to recover. Chris protests immediately, basically saying he's lying, check the replay. And sure enough, the replay shows it was a clean shot to the body.
Oh,
you're
he's right.
He's right. He's right.
Let's go. Wow.
No, it knocked the wind out of him, but he's
Yeah.
right. It wasn't a low blow.
Yeah, spinning back kick. DK. Whoa, I don't think that was in the
Look
contract.
at that. Bam.
Yeah.
Oh,
he felt it. Yeah, he felt it.
You know, I think the referee was confused at the same time too, because it could look from a different angle. It looks like low blow.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Next up, Chris Barnett vs Sandu Lungu. As the fight starts, Sandu right away tries to close the distance and overpower Barnett, the same game plan he always uses. But Chris keeps circling, refusing to let Lungu lock him down. Then Barnett shows a spinning heel kick. He misses and Lungu capitalizes by taking him down. Sandu managed to get Barnett's back, but Chris shrugs him off and unleashes a barrage of punches on Lungu.
Oh, yes. Positional reversal. Chris, made from behind, he's landing some pounding.
Okay, he's not responding right now. Barnett comes in and gets out, but Rune hasn't responded yet. He's
Continuing to land some pounding from behind. Keith Barnett.
from behind the lineman. Yaban High Sick overcomes the crisis and immediately seizes the opportunity to attack.
Yes.
Lagu is still unresponsive. No response. Barnett keeps landing pounding from Barnett. The match is over.
That's all the ref needs to see. He steps in and stops the fight in the first round.
And it seemed like I lost the back mount, but I straightened my waist. I straightened it and shook it down, and after that, I ran the rune. Actually, once you lie down,
Chris Barnett delivered an even faster and more clinical performance against Ahmed Tijani. As the fight began, he once again showcased how diverse his striking really is, firing off punches and kicks from every angle.
Game, and that is a fighter. And you never know what you're going to get here. Taking on.
Then, by the second minute of the first round, Chris lands a brutal overhand right that instantly shuts Ahmed's lights out.
Shock the wood. Oh, it's down goes Ahmed. Chris Barnett. Oh my God.
Wow. It's over. Fight's over.
Shut this thing down.
Fight's over. Fight should take this fight without experience. He went there. And unfortunately, he lost to the more experienced Chris Barnett.
One of the deadliest chubby guys in MMA has to be Kirill Sidelnikov, and we'll start with his fight against Carlos Toyota. In the first round, Kirill wastes no time throwing leather, showing just how dangerous and fast his hands really are. By the third minute, he's overwhelming Toyota with sheer volume, and Carlos just can't handle the heat and goes down. Another guy who had no chance against Kirill was Rakeem Cleveland. As soon as the fight starts, Kirill begins bullying Rakeem, forcing him to backpedal and circle the cage. Rakeem tries to work off counters and actually does a decent job catching Kirill a few times, but Sidelnikov just eats every shot and keeps marching forward. By the middle of the round, Kirill lands two heavy straight right hands that stun Rakeem.
Хорошо сейчас подловил ногу, после этого еще и парочку ударов.
Потерянным выглядит Кливленд, кстати, вот он, когда как раз Кирилл поймал ногу, уже, по-моему, выпал из поединка, и сейчас Сидельников его добивает.
And he doesn't hesitate for a second. He swarms him and finishes the fight.
Это все началось, нам не показывает эпизод в моменте, где Кирилл подловил ногу и два раза очень точно в челюсть пробил. Вот после этого Кливленд буквально потерялся, хотя остался в стойке.
And then there's the super fast finish Kirill delivered against UFC veteran Fabio Maldonado. As the first round starts, Kirill tags Maldonado with early strikes and takes him down.
Он получил в Ирландии в феврале этого года. Хорошо поддавливает Сидельников, правый прямой. Здесь избиение, по-моему, уже пошло в самом начале. Сразу опрокидывает соперника.
From there, he unleashes brutal ground and pound and gets the job done within the first minute of round 1.
Кирилл Сидельников выбрасывает очень тяжелый удар, и перекрывается здесь Фабио Мальдонадо. Да, он умеет терпеть, но нужно активно обороняться. И, похоже, сейчас все будет закончено. Вот так вот. Вы все видели сами, дамы и господа. С этого удара все началось. И тут Фабио понял, что этот вечер для него хорошо не сложится.
But the most well-known Kirill fight came against the machine-looking monster, Martin Soltych. The fight opens with a crazy rush from Martin, who charges forward like he's trying to end it in the first 10 seconds.
Heavyweights, but you already figured that out. Soltych in the black with the white trim.
Soltysek coming out like a fireball. Big right hands. I do not see this going the distance at all.
Kirill survives that early storm, and soon both guys are trading pure power shots in the center of the cage.
Good head movement. He's avoiding the big strikes.
Huge right hand by Soltysek, just flipping above the ear.
Just as I said that, he catches a big right hand. The guy's gonna gas carrying around that kind of weight. You're not gonna win by trading strikes with a guy.
Kicks.
Then Kirill unleashes a fight-ending overhand from hell. One clean bomb that shuts everything down.
Very low.
Are you surprised it hasn't gone to the ground yet?
Not at all.
Oh, big right hand punch, and that's
it. Looking at us now, Soltysek smiling. That right hand right on the chin dropped him. And he is clearly not able to defend himself. Great stoppage, great punch.
Now let's move on to the American Savage Tony Johnson and his most brutal knockouts. We'll start with his bout against Muhammad Wakaev. The beginning of the fight isn't easy for Johnson. Muhammad comes out applying aggressive wrestling pressure, but Tony does an excellent job defending every takedown attempt. By the end of the round, Wakaev, who hasn't been able to out-wrestle Tony, feels confident enough to trade strikes. Big mistake. Tony lands a massive right-hand bomb that ends the fight almost instantly.
Хороший джеб от Вахаева. Неплохо, по-прежнему чувствует дистанцию. Поплыл от Вахаева! И такого Тони не упустит, скорее всего. Один, другой, третий, четвертый удар. Виктор Карлов. Еще было множество добивающих ударов. Вот то самое попадание. Да, и действительно все закончилось в первом раунде.
One of the fastest finishes you'll ever see, Tony Johnson demonstrated against Denis Smolderov. Not even half a minute into the fight, Tony lands a ruthless overhand that sends Denis flying and ends the fight.
Ух, сразу!
Да, постарался зайти в борьбу Тони.
Попал Денис Смолдерев с левой, там прочувствовал этот удар Тони и постукивает как... Вот это да! Ничего себе!
Справа. Чисто попадает и... Слева, слева и справа.
Next up, Tony Johnson versus Daniel Omelnichuk. Another fight where Tony showed just how lethal his hands can be early on. Both fighters met in the center of the octagon. And if you do that as a heavyweight, be prepared. Either you knock out your opponent or you get knocked the hell out. Unfortunately for Daniel, it was the second. By the second minute of the round, Tony sent him straight to the Shadow Realm. And the last chubby guy on our list, but certainly not least, is Roque Martinez. Let's start with his fight against Hideki Sekine. Roque comes out wild, attempting a flying knee right from the get-go. He doesn't quite land it, but it sets the tone for the entire fight. Hideki tries to out-wrestle Roque, but Martinez does an excellent job defending. By the second half of the first round, they start trading heavy shots, and Roque is clearly enjoying this part of the fight.
Dive for the leg, and Martinez's hands are busy now. Shrek wildly, back fist on the return. Shrek is dangerous.
Then he drops Hideki, who lands outside the ropes.
Kicks. Kicks, the crowd comes alive. Shrek down, off the balance. Hammer fist now. Ankle kick, full out. Soccer kick, landed big. Boy, Shrek's in trouble. Ref has to get in there. Shrek is now defending himself, and there's the ref, but it's not to stop the fight.
The ref tries to get him back in, but quickly realizes Hideki is done and stops the fight.
Hideki's balance, well, it was a straight right hand actually that started it all. I didn't see it from just the softed back of Martinez from the camera angle, but now our great camera staff has been amazing all night long, really picking up.
And let's wrap it up with Roque Martinez versus Kiyoshi Kuwabara. This fight was an all-out brawl from start to finish.
Early and often, there we go, Martinez landing a combination there, right hand up the middle, throwing a kick there. Kuwabara coming in there, yep. These two guys are not messing around. Oh, they both landed some punches here. They both said there's not going to be any grappling in this fight. And Martinez says, bring it on.
Martinez has got great cardio for a heavyweight. That's his biggest attribute for this fight. but you get hit in the head like that, it's going to suck the energy out of you.
After 15 minutes, I highly doubt it. Bar is landing some punches down the middle, though.
He really is throwing around the band.
Martinez is swinging at him.
Bar's bloodied up already. His nose is already bleeding a little bit.
Hats off to Kuwabara. He came to fight, but that courage came at a huge cost. By the second half of the round, his face was already bloody and battered.
Martinez now stalking his opponent. Uppercuts, lefts, rights. Referee's getting very close there, Frank. Referee may have had enough of this. Kuwabara continues to take these punches, but he's answering back, throwing his own.
Kuwabara's not falling. He's not stumbling. He's not showing any way of getting hurt. He's dropping.
He's gaining a whole boatload of fans right now. Troubled as a youth. Took a lot of flack for his tattoo, raised by his grandmother. On his own eventually. And you know what? There is a future in martial arts. But he is taking an absolute peppering right now.
He's stumbling.
Roque Martinez. Martinez now with a high kick. Kuwabara's face red, bloodied.
By the end of the round, the ref had seen enough of Martinez's savagery and stepped in to save Kuwabara from further punishment.
Jab there, a right hand sweat flying across the rising ring. Body shot by Kuwabara. Inside leg kick. Roque dropping his hands.
Martinez can't keep doing this. He's got to keep his hands up because even though he's exhausted, there's still enough power back in there to put him down if he decides, if Mark gets a nice swing. Oh, he's getting caught now.
He's just landing his power punches. That's enough. It is over.
And so far, our Twitter followers and fans are batting a 0.
Yeah, so once again, just to, I believe someone's online asking me if I can re-explain the Mark Hunt thing. He looks up to Mark Hunt and apparently legally changed his name to Samurai Mark Hunt in honor of the samurais, obviously huge in the Japanese culture. Is obviously known way more to stand and bag, and he did stand and bag tonight, but the referee said, you know what, that is enough. You cannot take any more punishment like this.
That's it, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you appreciate the work. As always, have a great day, and I'm out.